Hey everybody, so this is just a very spur of the moment impromptu video on the Aroundsquare Beavertail Chetki set that was released a couple of months ago. They have restocked it last month. Last time I looked they were still in stock, but I may be wrong. They're the kind of things that are going to sell out quick because these have been amazingly popular. And to be honest, not hard to see why since I've got these, but yeah, when I bought them at drop price they were I think $70. Probably change now because they tend to do discounts on drops, although I may be wrong. I can't quite recall without looking at my email. So anyway, the Beavertails come as an accent set, so you can buy just the ends and I think you get a bead with them, so you get 2 ends and 2 beads. Or you can buy the whole set. Now I bought the whole set when I did that because I didn't want to take apart my white set that I'd already bought, because I've put some titanium and stainless steel beads on there, and also, you know, I wanted to keep this one as is, which is my first set that I bought that I've done a video on. So as you can see, the Beavertail's quite a bit longer. I will say though, just as an aside, I have changed all of these sets. They've all been restrung and some beads have been taken away because I have very small hands. And one thing I have learnt from speaking with the maker of the Balto sets is traditional Russian sets tend to be obviously thicker beads like this. And he also sized mine for me, and really I think it's supposed to go just sort of past the base of your palm, sort of onto your wrist, from middle finger down to there. So that's a good kind of size for me, and I do have very small hands. So with that knowledge and using the Balto set, I then changed all of my Aroundsquare sets, so they are shorter. So just keep that in mind. So I now have actually a load of spare beads that I think eventually. Sorry, these are all my this is my Chetki bag basically. Well, not Chetki. I've got spare cord. Let's just move that out of the way, and I've got loads of like spare beads. And eventually I'll probably be able to make an entirely new set out of what's left, which is great. So I've got some beads in reserve for that, so I've got some more titanium beads. So yeah, oh, there's one in there. That's the nice thing about Aroundsquare Chetki is you can just build your own, you know, with the accent pieces as well. You can get lots of different kind of beads. There's some people who've made some really funky sets. I've been really creative with them, so yeah, I like that about the Aroundsquare thing. So these are in reserve for something special when I can decide what I'm going to do. But yeah, these are just, you know, I've got loads of white beads left over from both of these sets, so I'm thinking maybe eventually I'll make a whole new set. But anyway, that's enough about the spare beads. The Beavertails have very pronounced ends, obviously, as you can see in comparison. So they have a kind of sloped, you know, like a tapered end paddle on the originals anyway, but obviously they're very, very small. They're about half the length. And just look at the difference in thickness as well. Very, very, these are really pronounced. And I think with that, I've grown so used to these now. I use them all the time. The beads just lock in. They behave a lot like a Begleri, basically, because there's a lot of transferable skills as far as, you know, my limited knowledge goes. In the fact that you've got a thin joiner, so the beads are like the joiner on a Begleri set, and then you've got these pronounced beads, you know, pronounced ends, much like the beads on the Begleri. Just helps provide a little bit of momentum, helps things lock into your fingers, and yeah, just I think I just personally get along better, and I think probably other people do on the whole as well. Yeah, I dropped it, but I'm still learning, I'm sorry. yeah, there's just something about those. It almost gives that kind of weighted end feel because there's more material there. And yeah, they just lock in really well, and the fact that they can just rest sort of like this, just on the side, because you've got enough here for it to rest. Can't really get much of the same effect with those. I mean, this one's a little bit better because obviously these beads are a bit weighted. I don't know if this is really important, you know, I'm still new. I mean, it can rest there, I guess, but I don't know. Really hard to explain, and I feel like this video is going to be a little bit rubbish, because I'm still really new to this and still learning, but I love the sound of these, the clack as well of the end beads. So that's one thing I'm trying to learn at the moment from some tutorial videos, is learning to grab that bead with these fingers. So I was just basically doing that, and I love the sound. But yeah, they're relatively lightweight. Obviously they just come full Delrin, so they're available in black or white. But yeah, they are very light, and I knew I was going to change with some accent beads because I think it just looks nicer. And I've put a stainless steel polished bead in there and titanium on there as well, so adds a little bit more weight to the end, which wasn't entirely necessary. I think you could go for like a polished titanium bead there instead and you'd still be fine. And then I thought that titanium bead's not going to add too much weight, it just makes it look nice. Originally I just had stainless steel, but I decided to put titanium on there as well. I love sandblasted look against polished. I think it just makes a nice nice contrast. But yeah, I'm still learning. But like I said, a lot of skills are transferable. I think the titanium Beavertails are going to land this month. I have no idea what the cost is going to be. Now, Matt has said that it costs a lot more to machine. I think to especially machine the holes straight through. And I can get that with titanium. That's going to be tough to do it accurately. So they are going to be quite expensive. So I don't know if he's doing full sets and accent sets as well. I kind of hope so, because then if you haven't got enough money to buy like a full set, then maybe, you know, if you buy the accent beads, you can put them on a, you know, on a Delrin set and just have the ends like I've done here. So you could have a titanium Beavertail ends with just Delrin in the middle, maybe. I don't know. I hope he does both, because it would just be accessible for everybody then, I think. I don't know what they're going to play like weight-wise, whether they'll be a bit too heavy or not, because I don't think he said either on Instagram or on the Discord how much they weigh yet. I think the question has been asked, but we haven't heard, so that's going to be interesting. But yeah, they are definitely the way to go, I think, where Aroundsquare sets are considered. I think eventually I will get some of the paddle beads, which are wider, but these I absolutely love, and I find it difficult to go back to these now. They are really good still, especially this set, because they've got a little bit of weight with the titanium ends that I put on there. You can definitely feel the difference, actually. In fact, I'd say this set is definitely heavier, despite the fact that these have more mass. But yeah, just in general, I can't do rolls very well with these. I can't do them very well with the Beavertails either, but there's something about how that bead can kind of hook round it's just easier. Like, I'm not very good. I'm still obviously learning them with Begleri. But the nice thing is, if you learn it with Begleri, you can kind of transfer it to Chetki. So, or the other way around, because a friend of mine does it the other way around. So, I gave her some of my own made Chetki sets, and she has Begleri. I've given her Begleri, and she's got her own, but she does it the other way. So she learns Chetki tricks and kind of transfers them to Begleri. So yeah, it's fun. They kind of do for most tricks, I guess, or at least from my experience going from Begleri to Chetki, they definitely do. What else can I say, really? I'll tell you what, I'll weigh them. Like I said, I've said before, none of my videos are planned. Like, this really isn't planned, so this is gonna be a little bit rambly. Especially as I'm so new to Chetki, but I'm hoping to get the titanium, either a set or just the ends. I'm not sure yet. It depends how much they're going to cost. So, bearing in mind that I've edited this, 28 grams. I think he may have the weights on the website for the standard set. And I think, how many beads have I got on here? 14. So I think the standard Beavertails come with 16 beads. Whereas I've shortened mine to 14 because that's what suits me, like, lengthwise. And again, I think these have just been shortened a little bit from standard. I can't remember. I think these are genuinely standard. They got more beads as standard because you've got smaller or shorter end beads. But even still, I think the thing I find with the standard sets now is, because I'm so used to the Beavertails, is that these two beads are kind of acting as extra paddles, extra sort of length to the paddles. So these two here. So I've almost made like a paddle there with the heavier metals, but it kind of works, doesn't at the same time. Sorry, I'm muddling up my words. It's really hard to explain. Nothing wrong with the original sets, really good still, but I think the Beavertails are the way to go. And what I'll probably do is get the paddle sets, the wide paddle sets at some point, and make as soon as I've got so many white beads here, just make a white paddle set at some point maybe, and try those and see how they compare. But the thickness of these end beads haven't really bothered me, in the fact that they haven't got in the way. I don't find them too big. You know, Chetki sets are still actually quite small. I think deceptively small. They look bigger in photos, or they did to me anyway. But the Aroundsquare sets are very, very small. Very, very slim and very, very thin. They're very unique. But yeah, love this set. This is I've strung this up on glow cord as well, so it looks absolutely amazing in the dark, because obviously the Delrin is translucent, so you can see the glow through them. And I also think there's less stress on the cord with these beads. Obviously they start at so each end of the cord goes through quite wide here, but I can see it particularly on these because they're my glow sets, and in the dark I can see the glow cord, but it does, you know, very gradually come to a narrower point. So there's just like less stress, because that usually tends to be a stress point on the cord with the original sets. And I think it's just because the distance here is just a little bit wider between the holes than on the Beavertail set. And also the angle to which these have to go is much more drastic, so they still start off quite wide. But yeah, there's less distance for that, for the cord to travel before they come out, so if that makes sense. But yeah, you do get a lot of wear here, and that tends to be where they fail and the cord has to be changed, whereas I think this has been much better refined, so they kind of naturally go towards those snake knots. Really lovely. And I don't miss having a bead either, so that's a titanium bead on there. Looks very nice with the tails, but because I have strung them up and tied them the same as how Aroundsquare do, but I actually don't miss the bead, and I prefer having the shorter sort of cord tails for sure. Much nicer. They just don't get in the way, they're less prominent. I just prefer that. So yeah, I don't really think there's anything more I can say. Like I said, I'm really sorry. This is very spur of the moment. Not really any planning involved whatsoever. I just was asked for a video, so I thought I'll do it. So have a lovely day. If you have any questions, then just leave them in the comments below. And also, if you've got a Beavertail set and you've also tried the normal sets, you know, let me know what you think, comparing them, and which do you prefer? Do you have the wide paddle set that Aroundsquare also sell? You know, what do you think of that set as well? And if you have all the sets, which are your favourites? So yeah, I'd be really interested in knowing, because I'm absolutely obsessed with Chetki at the moment. Really enjoying it. So yeah, have a wonderful day and bye bye.